You will never be Chinese. That's one of the unfortunate realizations that here in China, as a foreigner, if you decide to live here, you will never be Chinese. You will never be on that level. And the reason for that is because there's not a lot of foreigners here in comparison to how many Chinese people there are. In fact, Chinese people look at essentially their ethnicity and nationality as one and the same. They're not really different. And what I mean by that is in America, you could be of Mexican heritage, but born in America. And no one's gonna say, well, you're just a Mexican, you know? Because there are so many of those types of people there that no one really knows the difference. They might say that you're Mexican, but everyone kind of agrees that you're American. No one would ever say that an African person in America is not African American or just an American. You're just an American. Here in China, you will always be a foreigner. You will never be a Chinese. In fact, one of the funny things that I always talk about is when you're leaving China, it says foreigner. And when you're entering Macau or Hong Kong, it says, welcome, visitor. And you're like, awesome. I'm a visitor. I'm here to enjoy myself and have a good time, you know. You are welcome in our home of Macau and Hong Kong. And then when you re-enter into the mainland, it's like foreigner. And you're like, great, I'm a foreigner again. I'm unwanted. I'm not needed here, you know. You always will have that feeling of, I am a foreigner, I will never be Chinese. If you marry a Chinese woman, you are not Chinese. If you learn the language to a super high level, you will never be Chinese. If you get a house and a car and you own it all and you are super rich, you will still never be a Chinese person in the eyes of Chinese people. Because again, it's not just a nationality to them, it's an ethnicity. In fact, I have a friend where his daughter was born in America. She speaks no Chinese, has an American name, and his wife is Chinese. When he brings his daughter to China here, he has a problem of people always ask her Chinese name. They don't understand that she's American. She does not have a Chinese name. So, kind of in response to this, her parents just kind of bullshitted her a name. They just created her a name so that when people asked, they could just answer. They have had problems where people would say, well, why doesn't she have a Chinese name? Why doesn't she speak Chinese? You know, she's Chinese, right? It's like, no, she's American. And that's just something that as a foreigner, you will have to accept that if you have children here and they look Chinese, which if you have a child with a woman or a man that's Chinese, it will probably. And of course, it will never be considered anything in China except a Chinese. So there is always that realization that if I grow old here in China, I will never fully be accepted. A lot of the things that Chinese people have is conveniences I cannot have. It's sort of like a lot of Chinese now can go to Hong Kong and Macau, use their WeChat, and I still have to show my passport, of course. I can never be registered and use the technology. I will always have to show my passport. So that's just the way that it is here in China, and I will forever be a foreigner here in China. So if you plan on coming here and being considered as a Chinese person, you think you will learn the language and live here and buy everything, it will not happen. You will never be Chinese. So that's just the way it is. I'd like to thank you guys for watching. Have a good day and peace out. Bye-bye.